John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from
Cinema Classics is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to shows Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM. And listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Mary Yerina.
And this is Cinema Classics. And Mary, I thought we might be doing Breakfast at Tiffany's this week. Then all of a sudden you say you're going to see The Sheep Detectives. And I said, well, good luck on that, Mary. And because, of course, as my consigliere here, you advised that maybe this would be a good one for us to do. And because I have complete confidence in your taste and your ability, I said right away, let's do it. And so I did some exploring just to see what people were saying about it. And it's a winner, The Sheep Detectives. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
What's the deal, Mary?
So this is based on a 2005 German novel originally called 3 Bags Full. And although that novel has whimsy and fun with it as well, it also has a little bit more darkness. And this was adapted by Craig Mazin, who's an American, and kind of dispensed with some of the gorier, darker aspects of the novel, and we end up with basically a wonderful family film that involves sheeps actually becoming detectives to find out who killed their beloved shepherd, George Hardy.
Played by Hugh Jackman.
Well, I have to say,
right.
that was one of my inspirations for wanting to see the film.
He's one of my film heroics. He plays so many different roles. But I knew right away, since he was going to be murdered, that we wouldn't be seeing that much of him. And it's true, because it shifts to the sheep who have been listening to tales that he's been reading to them, mystery tales, and he had no clue that they were actually understanding what he was doing. But the conceit here is that they decide they know enough about this mystery business that they can go ahead and find the murderer.
They can, and this is, George has become somewhat of a recluse. He lives near a small English town called Denbrook. He lives in an Airstream trailer on his property that is in the middle of the meadow with his sheep, and he raises sheep for wool, not for slaughter. He's named them all. He reads to them from these novels every night, not thinking that they're understanding, when in fact they do. And it's a wonderful flock that's realized not only through incredible puppetry and CGI, but also the voices of the actors give each of them such a distinct personality. And if you actually read the credits, each sheep is identified by breed.
Yes.
So there are multiple breeds of sheep represented here in addition to their names. And it's just wonderfully done.
And it's shot in rural England on a farm, a real farm. I forget what the name is. But as far as the eye can see is the meadow.
Yes.
It's just a beautiful setting.
It's gorgeous.
I know.
So beautiful.
And it's filled with eccentric characters. And if you troll around England and some of these small villages, you're for sure going to see some of these characters.
Just a few.
Just a few of them. And so they're delightful. But Mary, you mentioned they laid off on some of the darkness. Isn't there darkness in The Sheep Detectives?
I mean, there certainly is, because it deals with the issue of obviously death and murder.
Yes.
But it's handled in a way that it doesn't focus on gore and really treats it with dignity and respect, and how the sheep, especially the lead sheep, Lily, previously views death, and that sheep become clouds and are able to forget anything at will that isn't pleasant to them. So she's living in a bit of a fantasy world, and through losing George, she comes to understand the importance of remembering, and that death does happen as a part of the cycle of life. So it's handled in a lovely way, and not unlike a lot of family films. I mean, Bambi was famous for Bambi's mom dies in the first few minutes of the film.
Correct.
And I think the key here is that the process of death, accepting death, loving and having relationships, all of that is handled, I think, in a very humane and appropriate way for all ages.
And I think the explanation is perfect, because you're thinking about, can I take my kids? Yeah, not really young kids, they would never understand it, but I think when you get into the 8, 9, 10-year-old, there's a chance here that this may be meaningful to them.
Well, and at that stage in your life, you likely have experienced death through a pet or a grandparent or someone closer to you. And so to be able to have a film that treats it with dignity and respect for the audience members while bringing so much beauty and joy and even humor to the story it makes it really quite enjoyable for the entire family to see.
Yeah, and that's a good word. I think the entire family, and if you as an adult think you can go do something, get a beer and whatever, no, you stay with this. This is really very meaningful in a most delightful way, if I could.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I even got a little choked up at a couple of scenes, even though the sheep were either puppets or CGI. But it's the nature of the relationship and the relationships that they have, especially Lily with George. We see some flashback scenes or some present scenes where she's imagining George being there and what he would say to her.
Yes.
And it just is so touching and so sweet.
Well, two important things that you're describing. First of all, you're failing to tell people that the great voice of Lily is
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
And wow, is she good. And you know that Dreyfus is so talented as an actress, and her voice is just as talented. And she is the smartest of the sheep.
Yes.
At least George believes that she is the smartest. And
Yes.
as we see it, yes, she really is. And I like the fact that it touches on some myths about sheep. One of them being that, if we're not following our own inclination, but being led around, we're usually considered to be sheep.
Right.
Because they're easily movable from one place to another. And in these people, there's just maybe even a hint of how provincial they are. But heck, there's so many of us. I even have friends who are provincial, who won't go anywhere. The great metaphor here is the road.
Yes. It's a funny scene. It's actually in the trailer where Mopple, who's voiced by the wonderful comedian and actor Chris O'Dowd, and Lily are going to leave the pasture so that they can help solve the mystery of who killed George. And the dialogue they have about whether or not they should actually step onto the pavement and what it is, whether they should go across, and it's just wonderful.
When you see the beautiful setting, the bucolic setting, it almost is something where you say, well, don't bother to go, you guys have got it made here. But it is so true to life in any way, human or animal. A willingness to stay where you are rather than to branch out, to adventure out, as this was. I think it's so very well taken in this film.
Oh, absolutely.
And typical of the way it doesn't act like a messenger to you. It simply tells.
It just simply tells the story from the vantage point of the sheep. And we even have, you have old sheep and you have young sheep.
Yes.
And you have a couple of sheep who are somewhat outsiders to the flock. You have the older Sebastian, who we learn his story.
Voiced by Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston,
wow.
exactly.
They're a good voice.
And we also have the winter lamb.
Yes, explain that, because I think that's a really neat concept.
So
here.
apparently sheep flocks will reject a lamb not born in the spring.
Yeah.
And so in this case of this story, winter lambs are outsiders who aren't accepted but are kind of around. And George loves all the sheep. So he rescues Sebastian from a bad situation earlier in his life. And he is tending to the winter lamb, the little winter lamb. And so it also has that theme of outsiders.
Yeah.
And othering people and not treating them well. And so there's just so many wonderful
Yes.
lessons about humanity taught through this flock of sheep as they try and solve this mystery.
Mary, it's so true, and accepting people who are different from you.
Yes.
You know, and I thought that Wonderland idea was just perfect.
And not to mention the Wonderland is just as cute as a button.
That's they load that one.
Yes. And we also have the townspeople who bring their own humor and their own ineptness and vitality to the story. I do think the movie, if I had one criticism, is I think you had Hong Chow and Emma Thompson in a couple of townspeople roles, and I thought they were underutilized, especially Emma Thompson, because her character is written with such wit. You really wanted more of her on
She
screen.
takes over.
Absolutely,
I mean,
and she's not on screen that much, but you wanted her.
You do.
So I thought that aspect of it, when they were with the sheep, was when the film was the strongest, and I thought the townspeople could have been a little more strong and a little more prominent.
Well,
in
I
the story.
thought the cop was just a bit too goofy for me.
Yes.
It's comic, and I realize that. But I just thought they went over just a little bit on his. He's the only cop there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Denver is a one-cop town.
Yeah, right.
He is not a detective.
Right, yeah, he's not stupid, but he's not yet bright. I mean, this is his first big case.
Yes.
You know, so we know.
And one thing, as an adult, having seen many procedurals either on television or on film, is I'm watching him handle the crime scene of finding George's body, and I'm like, you haven't taken any pictures, you haven't gone in his trailer.
You won't even go in his trailer.
You're really bad at your job.
Well, there are other things that they do that are unrealistic. For instance, we find out that the estate that's in the will is worth $30 million. Excuse me, we're in England. It's not dollars, but they do that.
Well, they do that, and I gave them that because one, the director Kyle Balda is an American, and the screenwriter Craig Mazin is American as well. But his daughter has been raised, as we learn, in America, so they may have referred to that in dollars, so that she, to whom that money was left, understood the amount.
The other one for me was calling Emma Thompson's character a lawyer.
That's true. She would have been a solicitor.
Right.
Yes.
So anyway, so they do the look, but I think it's amusing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we know that they would do it if they need to, but I think your argument, as well as the fact that the vast audience here will be mostly English-speaking American, so that they would. But anyway, I just thought it was a cute. Everything else seems so British.
Yes.
To it. All right, Mary Yerina, if people want to hear more about you, and they always do, I'll get a number of calls.
I think it's you.
Saying, John, will you shut up? Because that Mary is so smart. Well, when I meet your friends out there, they all agree that you're smart. So if you didn't know that before, you know it now. So people have to go to our website,
Yes.
to WCBE.org, to the podcast experience, and in this case, to Double Take, to hear more of us. But Mary, what do you suggest on The Sheep Detectives?
I suggest that you and your family and friends go see it. You will be delighted and appreciate being woven in to this childhood story.
Yeah, and another theme that as you were mentioning, that I really liked here was memory. That the kids begin to learn that the way you keep a hold on people who die is the memory.
You remember them.
Yeah, you remember them, and that's when they can. And I think that's some very neat concept. So it's filled with this stuff. It's delightful, and if you have kids of an age where they're becoming really responsible, past their 8 or 9, it's worth being able to discuss the idea of memory, the idea of death, and the idea of trust, and all.
And the idea of outsiders.
Welcoming
the stranger.
For sure.
I mean, there's just so many wonderful themes, as you said earlier, that aren't prominentely pushed on you.
No, right.
But are there, and they're there for you to discover and to hopefully discuss with your family after you see it.
I'm John DeSando.
Cinema, 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 cinema. classics. Let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our